Testing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Looks like I get to start this intro all over again, because no one was here. No one was here and no one was listening. Okay. I hope everyone is having a 2021-tastic Tuesday here in this year of our Celestia, February 16th. I have actually had a really fantastic year. Sort of for a similar reason that last year was fantastic, though, which is sheer production output, which has been pretty incredible, actually, if you think about it. All the same problems are still there, of course, like all the stores being closed down, all the restaurants, nothing to do. My Florida trip is probably fucked. God damn it. So glad that that's working out. The beauty of federalism. Yeah, so I'm waiting to see how that plays out, because I still really want to go to Florida. That was the whole point of having the little tropical theming for the New Year's cast. I guess if it isn't in the spring, it'll be in the fall or next spring or something. I was trying to avoid hurricane season and like the busy season, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is just a little break. Like I said, I have been very busy, so I'm taking a little time out of my busy schedule to just chat and unwind, and also communicate to you, our lovely audience, what has been going on the last couple of weeks, months. First of all, I should probably state that I do have a new Hearts and Who's song out. Hopefully everyone had a nice weekend. Whether or not you had that special someone to hang out with, I didn't. I just had my stories. But I did have a really good pizza, actually. And if that isn't love, yeah, had a really good pizza. Got to listen to some very lovely rain, which happens so seldom in California that you gotta savor every moment. And what else? There's one more thing. Oh yeah. So, song came out. This year's Hearts and Who's song was a Wonderwall parody, which I've never done before. I very much the original is okay. I was never the hugest fan of like Oasis or that style of music, but then Jonathan Young did a sort of rock metal cover 2 years ago, something like that, and I fell in love with it. And it was just like my favorite song by Jonathan Young for a long time. So I went back to the original and I'm like, this has some interesting lyrics. I bet this would be a good Hearts and Who's song. And so I retooled the concept and turned Wonderwall into How Hard I Fall, as in fall in love with someone, and also how hard you can fall morally, because it is a Starlight Glim Glam song about her and sunburst. And anyway, the song is pretty self-explanatory. Check it out if you are curious, but I think it turned out pretty well. Hello, DJ Pyrotechnics in the chat. I see you there. Yeah, so fun song. I used the karaoke version, which still got picked up by the system, but at least it didn't get fucking nuked from orbit like Blinding Lights did. So that was great. I'm not surprised either, because apparently that song did fuck money. Like, I don't even know. I'm assuming like several platinums or whatever. How is music output rated these days? Because somehow that got the Weeknd exclusive Super Bowl performance rights, which is pretty crazy, because I don't remember that happening for the last 10 years. The last solo act I remember at a Super Bowl was The Who, which was when I was in high school or something. I don't know. It seems like every year there's some weird mishmash of this popular female pop singer along with this, washed up mid-2000s band. That's been the Super Bowl for the last couple of years. I don't know. I thought it was great, though. I mean, obviously I like the Weeknd's music. Otherwise I wouldn't have done the fucking parody in the first place. But yeah, I thought it was well. I didn't know about some of his older songs. I didn't know he'd been around so long. I thought he was actually more of a newer artist, but yeah, played some of his older stuff, had some really interesting choreography and video effects stuff, and then, of course, then the medley caps off with the Blinding Lights, the super duper mega song. So, very fun. Go check it out. I'm sure it's on like the NFL's YouTube channel or something. Great show. A really fascinating game too. Oh my gosh. Like, for all the sports fans out there, the Super Bowl last year was great because you had that rookie struggle, the underdog struggle of the Kansas City Chiefs, who hadn't won a Super Bowl in like forever, against the San Francisco 49ers, who had several Super Bowls under their belt because of Mr. Montana. And it was great. You know, you had a young quarterback in Mahomes playing them to victory. And it was a really, like, good game, too. Like, I think the Niners were up at halftime, and then Mahomes came back with the squad, and they just pressed and took it, and it was their big Super Bowl moment, and that was great. This year, the dynamic was a little bit different. They made it back, Kansas City Chiefs, up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I am not a big football fan. Like, I watch casually in the postseason with my dad. If the Packers are lucky enough to get there, which they were, because they're a good team, but not a great team anymore, because they keep fucking it up with the defense. And they lost the NFC Championships to freaking the Buccaneers. And anyway, so that was sad for my dad. But we still watch the Super Bowl game anyway. You know, it's fun, Super Bowl, for all you Americans out there. I don't think Europeans watch the Super Bowl, do they? I somehow doubt that. I assume they treat the Super Bowl like I treat the World Cup, which is as a non-entity. Get fucked soccer. Anyway, Super Bowl. This year I'm like, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who gives a shit? But then I was informed of the backstory, which is really interesting. Gonna drop the B word here, so everyone, you know, be prepared. Tom Brady. I had no idea that he had moved on from the New England Patriots, who, like, all of his Super Bowl wins, his 6 rings, were with the New England Patriots. And the Patriots have this infamously, like, fat-headed coach named Bill Belichick. And I guess he really, really wanted to prove that we got these Super Bowls because of me, not Tom Brady. And it's just like so obvious. I mean, without him like coming on TV and like making a big announcement speech, so obvious that he's just jelly of the fame. And so when Tom Brady was asking for like some kind of raise or something, they just said, fuck off. The guy who just won them like 6 Super Bowls in the last like decade and a half, they told him to fuck off. And so he did. And he was immediately picked up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have all that Florida money from, you know, cocaine and fucking gun running and stuff. And they picked up the B-Man. And what does he do? He takes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way to the Super Bowl and wins. So what? Thanks for playing, Belichick. That was really smart of you, thinking you were such hot shit, where you scared the guy off, or you know, drove him into the arms of another lover, and you didn't even get the Patriots to the fucking postseason, you idiot. So Brady, which is totally fine to hate, I'm not gonna pass judgment on anyone, but he did show that he didn't need the Patriots. First season on the Buccaneers, he takes the team, molds it in his image, mouth kisses his son, and then gets a 7th Super Bowl ring. So, that's something else. I like it for the Shakespearean drama. Just the idea that not only that, but basically Belichick, for the sake of his own reputation, has now soiled the entire reputation of the Patriots, because now with this single win, it makes them look like they were just along for the ride, hitched up to Brady's, you know, goat wagon. So that's great. He soured all of their Super Bowl wins of the past decade and a half. Good job, Belichick. Anyway, moving on from football, because this is a nuclear horse channel or whatever. This is BananaCast 24. I've had 24 of these. I think 2 or 3 of them other people have popped in and they become non-BananaCast. But anyway, I don't know. This is a medium I'm good at, is the monologuing. Take that for what you will. It's fun. It's mostly for my own venting. Even before they were BananaCast, there was the little, bored as fuck casts and decompression casts and little things like that. So, in this case, it's also informative. For all of you who tolerate the sound of my voice, I will also feed you knowledge about what's going on with EAST Corp Productions. As you might have noticed in the new year, we have quite a few new Wasteland Survival Guide videos. And it gets better. Not only do we have new Wasteland Survival Guide videos, we have the rest of the Wasteland Survival Guide videos. The series, after over 4 years of production, is finally coming to a close. I am currently working on the last couple episodes, the video portions. The audio is done. And once we have those episodes out, we have a really nice afterword chapter as a nice bookend from our forward chapter that we dropped in 2016, if you can believe that. Nice bookend to that. And then we have the remastered audiobook plus the complete PDF package of the Wasteland Survival Guide, which you can take and print however or wherever you want. We could never quite figure out a printing situation, but the PDF's great, and it'll be a free download with the audiobook. So hopefully people enjoy that. I think it's going to be pretty fucking sweet. I should probably point out, if you can hear the music in the background, I don't even know if that's coming through, a channel called Stomp's Playlist, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Mix 2021, no copyright Lo-Fi Hip Hop. I really hope it's no copyright. Anyway, so Wasteland Survival Guide coming to an end. We had actually planned out this end for a long time. We finished writing the final chapters over a year ago, something like that. So we were finally glad we were able to get to the point of recording and mixing and mastering. And so, yeah, we have, I believe, 2 episodes left, and then the afterword, and then the big super duper everything video where all the chapters are actually, along with the audiobook and the actual PDF book, are going to be in the final order, which is also pretty cool. We have things an order that we decided on over a year ago or whatever, where it's sort of in operations of how soon you need a chapter. Basically, the most critical parts of survival are the very first chapters, and then at the end, it's the really long-term, society building kind of stuff. So I believe it's a nice breakup into sections. The PDF book also includes some never-before-seen artwork by yours truly, because it's broken up into 6 dramatic sections of 7 chapters, and then the foreword and afterword make 44 in total. And so those are kind of neat. The little sections tell a little story. And then there's some other little exclusive art kind of mixed throughout as well. Something at the end and etc. So hopefully people have fun with that. We will, along with the big finale video, we'll probably have a playlist of all the chapters put in their proper order as well. And I think it's going to be kind of cool. In the chat, get flanked kicked by Balefire Blues mod. Oh, that sounds fun. Hearts of Iron. Yeah, I never did play that. I was never big into strategy games, but that always looked like a fun one. I have not been here in forever. How is everyone doing? The good doctor. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're not in the frozen hellscape part of the United States. There's the United States is one giant glacier right now, except for 2 hot zones, and I'm in one of them. We have the Florida fuck the country hot zone, which is centered around I don't know, I guess Tampa, actually. Interpret that how you will. So Florida is fine. It's as it always is. And then here in Northern California, we're benefiting off the, I guess, warm nuclear glow of Pyramid Lake, Nevada? I don't know. We had a little bit of rain recently, but it's a nice balmy summer, just like last year, so no frozen hellscape for us. Everyone in the middle, though, is fucked. Like, Texas is frozen, too, which is pretty surreal. Frozen hellscape, this is Arizona. Yeah, well, what part of Arizona? Don't get me with that. I'm your neighbor. I know about Arizona. For instance, freaking Flagstaff. Oh my god. Most of California is warmer than Flagstaff. When I was driving through there moving one time, we almost got caught in like a sleet hailstorm. That was horrible. But I can agree, Phoenix is hell. The only time I've ever been to Phoenix was in like late January when it should be its coldest, and it was like 70 degrees, 20 degrees Celsius for our foreign friends. And that was ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. I can't imagine what that is like in mid-August. Like, and I've driven through Death Valley, the Death Valley in mid-August. So, yeah, this is Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong there. People, what is the King of the Hill quote? It's like something Bobby says. What is that Bobby quote? Cool. Quote Phoenix. Damn it, just show me the King of the Hill, not Ricky Bobby, you idiots. This is taking way too long. Oh, here we go. 111 degrees? Phoenix can't really be that hot, can it? Oh my god, it's like standing on the sun. This city should not exist. It is a monument to man's arrogance. It's so true. A monument to man's arrogance. I'm sorry, your trendy Scottsdale cafe is not worth it. Although I do have to say, for building a large town in the middle of the sun, at the very least, the university is pretty nice. I had to drive through UAZ? What the fuck is the name? I don't know. Arizona State Phoenix, whatever. It was a very nice campus. We had to visit a friend when we were driving through there, so. That's true. All the trendy cafes are in Tempe. Oh, man. Tempe. That reeked of pretentious. As soon as we entered there. And it reminded me of, like, around the University of San Diego. But unlivable. It's fucking funny. I loved it. Now, the cool parts of Arizona are the parts way in the south. Like, far enough south that you're not in Mexico yet, but it's in the steppe. STEPPE. What's the city? Tombstone, Arizona. That whole like area in the corner is really cool. We had to drive through Tombstone on that trip, and it was like nice and cool, and there was some other stuff around there too, like I don't know, old like historical markers and stuff. I think there was an army base too, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, so that's the only good part of Arizona. Except the airport. I will hand it, Sky Harbor International is a good airport. Except when you fly out of there, because the hellish fire winds carry you straight into the air, direct, like vertically, and that's a little bit scary. Vegas has that problem too sometimes at McCarran, where like the winds will pick you up at really weird angles. Like I don't normally get sick on planes. I got sick both times I took off from McCarran and Phoenix like 2 years ago. The cold has always been something I've enjoyed. The cold never bothered you anyway? I agree. I can maintain heat. Heat is easy. You fucking burn shit. No, I'm Scandinavian. The cold is much trickier. Or, I mean, the heat is much trickier. I can't just you can't. It's just trickier. Anyway, so hopefully everyone is surviving. True surviving. Oh, I should probably go back to, before I get too far away from the very beginning of the podcast, why I've been so productive this year. Alpha, on one hand, part of it is because of the Wasteland Survival Guide, which has been so great, and it's such a dopamine rush to be finishing it. You have no fucking idea. Not as good as Confessions, of course. Confessions had a much longer dramatic backstory and several more years on top of it. But finishing up Wasteland Survival Guide is totally fulfilling and rewarding. So that's going to be solid when that final video drops. And then, but yeah, no, it was really surreal, actually. Like, I dropped Ulysses Chronicle finale on, what was it, the 23rd of December, something like that. It was the big Saturnalia Yule special, and it did all right. It's kind of the whole series it did okay. I don't know. I'm taking a break from Ulysses for a while. I'll probably drop like a compilation video of that at some point, and then we'll see if like we can find a new audience or more audience or something. Like, I don't know. It seems like a dead concept or not popular concept. So I'll probably finish the story in some form eventually, but for sure I'm not doing the on-screen text anymore. That was fucking hell. Oh my god. I'm never ever doing that again. I don't know. I know why I did it. I did it because I was uncomfortable with the accuracy of my pronunciations, but instead all I'm going to do in the future or whatever is just post the fucking script. I'm just going to put a PDF file in the description, and you can read me horribly mispronounce my Latin, my bastardized vulgar Latin and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess I kind of ran out of creative juice on that too. I'd been working on that since Confessions ended in like July 4th or whatever. So that was a good solid 6 months of production. And it was rewarding. Like, everyone really helped and contributed, and I'm happy with the end product as a whole. But it wasn't, I don't know. I haven't had the urge to continue on with it right now. What happened instead was I took a few days and I'm like, okay, I'll start uploading them to like Libsyn and some of these podcast sites, just see if anyone else finds it there. Hasn't really happened yet, but still kind of doing that. And then I went through on like, I think it was Christmas Eve, early in the morning before I was meeting up with family. Christmas Eve, I have this huge like Google Docs list that I created with my original college email account. And it's just a bunch of writing ideas that I've had since college, when I really started seriously doing any kind of prose writing. Way back in college, this is like 2010, I actually wrote like 50,000 words worth of a novel of like, honestly, it was like Fallout fan fiction, but it was loosely, it was unique enough. It would have been strictly fan fiction, but it's like, I don't know, like with Halo and Ringworld, you can see all the trace elements. Anyway, doing that like half of a novel, because the plotline wasn't wrapped up or anything. I had no idea what I was doing. That took me about a year, I think. I want to say it was like summer to summer that I was working on that, and that's been sort of my production output. Then in the last couple years with Confessions, it's picked up a bit, because then I was doing Terminal Secrets and Confessions and some little scattered stuff like Wasteland Survival Guide. And so it was more like, maybe 75,000 words a year, something like that. The Confessions finale, it basically equates to 10,000 words an hour if you want a very simple algorithm, and you can look back through the series, and that almost fits perfectly for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. So yeah, 10,000 words an hour. And yeah, obviously last year with the finale, that was the biggest I'd ever written in a while. And then this year, I was scrolling through my list of ideas, and I came across literally one of my oldest ideas that I've had for a story. It goes back to high school, and there's so much backstory with it. I have to like go into detail eventually after it's released on all the detail that really led into the inception of the idea. And then on top of that, some of the stuff that's come up in the recent years, like the last 2-3 years, that have basically rekindled the idea within me, and also contributed to it thematically or dramatically or something like that. And yeah, then it was literally, I swear, it was almost like divine inspiration. I woke up on Christmas Day, and I had the craziest dream the night before. Basically, I had refreshed my mind with all those ideas for that one original concept way back in high school, and it was like they all came together like a fucking atom bomb. And I had this vivid dream sequence that like hopped around with characters, and it sort of established like this group and this group and this group, and so there was like basically an ABC story that like twist around like a thread, like a rope into a big story, and there's a few other like random strands in there too. But it was so real that I woke up on Christmas Day and I wrote it down, and it became chapter 1, like 20 pages, like 7,000 words of the novel. And it's gonna be a novel, because then after that, I just kept going. I kept drawing the threads together, and all the characters kept moving forward, and all these ideas just started pulling together like it was the, you know, like it was what is it, the ancient Greek fates spinning the web of time all together into one grand tapestry. I've never had this kind of like production output before. It's 7 weeks. In the 7 weeks since Christmas Eve, I've written 100,000 words of pure prose novel. And it's insane. Like, I felt so good. Like, literally every day I woke up and I'm like, I have another 4 hours of effort that I can put into this. 4 hours worth of ideas to write down. And it just kept going and going. And it's honestly, it's getting even like denser now than it was in like January. I can't even explain it. But now the novel's like almost done. I'm through the second act. Like, I'm in like the big like second act like battle action sequence, essentially, if you think of it in classical 3-act structure. And so I think the final word count's going to be like 130,000 words, maybe? Something like that? I'm not exactly sure. I don't think it'll be more than 150,000, just speaking dramatically based on what's written down and where it's heading to. But I blow myself away. I'm like, I can't believe I was able to do this. I usually am really productive in the winter. Like, it's kind of a meme I discovered in myself after writing, when was it? After the Duchess Horror. I really feel like that was when it was started. With the Duchess Horror, I was fucking sick. I was homesick for like a week because of something I got over New Year's. It's 2015. It wasn't Corona. But in that week, I finished the Duchess Horror, and I felt so proud of myself for finishing that 18,000 word story. And I think I wrote 18,000 words just in the last like week or two. So anyway, I'm really not trying to like brag or anything. I'm literally like blown away. I feel like I got possessed by the creativity fairy, and they just started writing the book for me. So I'm just super excited. We disconnected. No. Are we back? I think we're back now. Okay. The happy music seems to imply that we're back. I'm gonna have some more coffee here. So anyway, again, this isn't like a brag thing. I'm just stoked, honestly, for myself. Because this time last year, I did have a bit of a real fear, like, that Confessions would wrap, and then, like, that would be it. Like, that was the end of my writing creativity, and, you know, I could only ever write this, I think pretty neat, but this big fan fiction of two properties that I already loved. But no, this new thing, I mean, yeah, there's some obvious inspirations that go into it that you'll be able to pick up just from reading the fucking chapter titles and stuff too. But it's a lot broader. It's a lot more things that went into it. It's a lot more original in the number of concepts and themes and stuff mixed into it. Totally original characters, kind of original setting. And yeah, so I'm just fucking stoked. I don't know how else to put it. Like a month ago, like mid-January, after I crossed the like 40,000 word point or something, I decided to get the cover together, like the novel cover and audiobook cover, because I will do an audiobook for it. And I didn't have Photoshop anymore because that shit is expensive. So I'm like, I googled around it a little bit, and I'm like, okay, what is a good cheap pen tool alternative? And I found this software called Krita? It sounds Russian. It could just be Krita. Critter. Or whatever. Anyway, I think it was like Russian or something. Krita. And it's a great program. It's a great free Photoshop alternative that has like a pen tool that it calls like the Belaziz curves or whatever. But it functions like a pen tool. And it's so great, and I was able to draw the logo on the cover exactly as I wanted to, and then I went and I found some copyright-free, more or less, other assets that I could combine into it. So it's so legit, and it's gonna be up for sale and all like proper on Audible and Kindle and all that stuff, provided that I get accepted by Amazon as a proper like novel. What do they call it? Like an author's account or something? I think so. I have some friends who set up author's account on Amazon in their system. I don't know anyone who set up an Audible account yet as a reader of like their own stuff, but I think it's doable. Anyway, so that's all coming along like beautifully. That's kind of like, that is my project this year, because once the thing is done and I've reviewed it and, you know, edited and everything, I hope to have the actual book done by, June at this point. And then from there, I'll start the audiobook production process, which, using Confessions as a guide, I'm gonna say is gonna take me 3 to 4 months. I sort of have a target date that I want this to be out in mid-September. And there's a really good reason for that in the story, which will make sense. But yeah, so that's kind of my goal at this point. Is I really want both the book and the audiobook to be available by mid-September. That would be the optimal season that people would be interested. And then also maybe I'll drop like $500 on advertising or something. I hope that Amazon has some kind of like integrated advertisement service where you can pay, you know, so many dollars and they'll post ads of that shit everywhere. Because it happened to me. I don't know if she's a new author, or they, sorry, I think they're non-binary. I don't know if they are a new author, but this author named Rosa Salazzo, something, just came out with this book called What Big Teeth? And like a play on Little Red Riding Hood, like, oh, what big teeth you have. And I have to admit, whoever they found to do the art for this book, I don't know, something about it fucking grabbed me. Like, this art kept popping up in my feed, and I kept clicking it every single time because I was trying to find a bigger version to download. There's something. Okay, come on. I have to show this on screen since I'm talking about it. Fucking. Come on, download for me. Okay, there we go. This art, Rosa Sabo, sorry. Something, I should know this. I'm also Eastern European. Anyway, so I think it's some kind of like, something spooky, like, you know, girl goes home and she has like a monster family or something, like werewolves and vampires and shit. Oh no! The music's gone! Go back to the music. Please don't stop the music. Okay. Ooh, what is this, coffee house jazz? Yeah, that works. That's kind of nice. Okay. Anyway, so this image popped up in my Facebook feed so damn much for a week long. I was genuinely confused. I'm like, did the algorithm just like leech onto me because I clicked it once because I tried to download the large version of this image once? I have no fucking idea. Or if they just paid like, some amount of money and it just popped up in a lot of related groups that I follow. Anyway, I got the audiobook. I haven't even listened to it yet. I don't even know if it's good or if it's like some, modern Bronte Sisters shit, which I hate. Fucking hate the Bronte Sisters. But I bought it. So way to go, Advertising Fairy. You did your job. Mad men. Anyway, I just really like this art. I don't know. Something about it literally grabbed me, sank its teeth into me. So... but as far as I can tell, they are also a relatively new author. Their book has actually been reviewed by people, so I don't know how they did that. They probably have an agent or something, but I'm not gonna have that because that sounds hard. Who needs an agent when you could just pay people to advertise for you? I guess that is kind of what an agent does, isn't it? Anyway, I don't know. This is a first attempt. I think it's a really solid first attempt, though, which is what I'm proud of. I really think the story has potential, at least in the way in my own writing influences. Obviously there's the Crichton-esque like author's voice that all of you should be used to by now if you've ever listened to Confessions or whatever. But then there's a lot of spooky elements that I can only say, I don't know, without ripping. It's not a ripoff, but it's very Stephen King. It's like Stranger Things. It's a third-hand reinterpretation of that kind of spoopy undertones. I don't know, but like I said, it's got enough of me in there, and there's some Tim Burton, and there's some other stuff, and I'm really excited about it. That's why I've been writing fucking 4 hours a night all year since Christmas Day, Christmas morning. 4 hours on average, because of a couple of nights they were literally all-nighters. That's what I've been doing all year. It's just this. And Wasteland Survival Guide. You guys can't fault me. I've been maintaining that output incredibly well, all the way up to the end as it's gonna be. But yeah, so take a look out for that. Like I said early on, this has nothing to do with EAST Corp or Skybolt or any of that. This is my brand new foray into proper fiction writing, and I'll have a brand new pen name and all this stuff. So, but I will probably most likely drop links and stuff in all of the related chats and things, so people can check it out. Because at the very least, if someone discovers it and they hear the audiobook, it's my voice is not exactly. It's very distinct in good and bad ways, so I think people would be able to figure out really quickly that it was me. And secondly, I should also point out that I ended up commissioning L Train to do a theme song for it, and it's going to be at the opening of the audiobook as well as a very specific place in the middle. And it's like ABC, someone will hear the audiobook, click on L Train's channel, and then any of the symphonic metal operas, it's like, hey, that's the author. So it's just enough terms of separation that I don't think it'll be crossing the streams. I don't think it'll be there's enough separation between the two that people can hate the pony stuff or ignore it completely and like this, or vice versa. If you end up hating this and only like my old pony stuff, that's fine too. So, okay. Have I braggadocious about this enough? We can move on. We can talk about other topics. What else were people saying? You can put more ice in a tub. That's true. You can put more ice in a tub. Speaking of Wasteland Survival Guide, my recommendation below the stream is for the cannibalism episode. Yes! I still think that's probably one of my favorite episodes just because of the black and white and because of the music, the different music choice, I love that episode so much. It's such a spooky standout, and even in the audiobook, it immediately stands out too, which is really fun. Bezier curve, there you go. I have been in squee mode. It's really hard to contain. Like that dopamine rush from being this productive at something that I genuinely think is a good creative product is the only thing that's kept me going through the winter. I get very seasonably upset, which is part of the reason why I'm so creative in the winter time, because otherwise I am fucking depressed. So that helps. It was really funny too. Like if you're in the EAST Corp Discord server, you could probably track the progress that I've been posting updates about in like the spoiler chat and stuff. There was this one post I made where it's like, okay, I'm writing the low point for a character. Oh no, I wrote it too sad and now I'm sad. And that was one of those nights too, where I was like writing about this character's absolute devastating lowest point ever, and I'm sitting there like I'm like a fucking teenage girl watching a, you know, Hallmark Channel movie, and I'm just like I shouldn't be feeling this strongly, but I am for whatever reason, so I might as well channel those feelings into writing something that's equally sad. And I think it worked out. You know, you gotta put that energy somewhere. Yeah, so I'm very excited. I think it'll be neat. There's a lot of neat stuff in there, and yeah, hopefully it'll do well. I don't know. What else are we talking about? I'm not sure it's possible to rip off Stephen King. That's true. It's not set in Maine, so automatically it's not a rip-off of Stephen King. I guess it's like, it's the broader like influence, you know, how he sort of established his own private collection of tropes, which have been very influential on film and literature for, you know, like 40, 50 years. I mean, he started off with like The Stand and all those you know, books in the late 70s. So he's got a very big bibliography. It's the same thing as like Lovecraft or Poe, where it's like, if you write anything within like earshot of that style, it's going to get some kind of comparison, which I'm not bothered by. I know it's a very fully original work, and I don't think, you know, I'm going to be called like a hack or something for like ripping it off at all. Because it's not ripping off any one story. It's not like, there are no direct parallels to any of his stories. Anyway, I'm really trying not to humble brag. I'm literally just excited, and I had to finally talk about it in public in like a very, you know, broader way rather than just posting my my page and word count updates in the spoiler chat, because I think Vermont's getting a little upset too, and I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to like one up or like compare myself to him at all. I have no idea what he's writing or where or how much or anything. I was just excited of my own progress, and posting little updates like that helps me also, because it helps encourage me to be like, look at what you got done in the last week, you know, you keep working for the next week. And anyway, speaking of inspirations, I should also mention Beetlejuice the musical. I think I brought that up on the last stream, how I've been getting into that big time since discovering it just 6 months ago. Late to the party as usual, and one of my big complaints was I only discover these things after the original cast are like long gone, and it just sucks. Someone on YouTube, on the interwebs, on the YouTubes, in Susan's Good Christian Video Center, someone has been getting all these clips together of the early set of shows, which were starring the original Lydia, who's amazing, this girl named Sophia Ann Caruso, and then the original Beetlejuice, which is what's his name? Alex Hirschman? No, that's the fucking that's the Disney Channel guy, isn't it? Alex something. Anyway, those two shows from them, and they're cutting it all together like almost like a movie. It's really incredible. I don't know where they're getting these clips from, but it's so great, and I'm downloading them the second they post because I don't want the channel to die. And so I'm watching the show basically that way. It was what I suggested on my Twitter a few weeks ago, where it's like, literally just take like 3 cameras and record a show and then splice them together. It's really not that hard. And you could put like a single fucking iPhone, plug it into the sound system, and record the output audio as they're, live mixing it and everything. These are professional sound engineers. They get paid a lot of money to do this shit on the fly. A lot of people like that have worked in like live album recording and stuff like that. For instance, I think my favorite album audio version of Hadestown the musical, which came out a few years ago, is the live recording version. That's really good. If you haven't heard that yet, I highly recommend to go for the live recording of Hadestown. It feels very like lively. Maybe that's the wrong word. Because of the genre of music, because it's that sort of like old time ragtime blues jazz, and it sounds like it's recorded in like a smaller theater, it just works really well. Like, get good headphones and listen to that, and go through all the way down a Hadestown, way down onto the ground, all that stuff. So Beetlejuice or Michael Keaton or not. Well, yes, that's the original, obviously. And I have a long history of enjoying Beetlejuice in terms of that was one of my first Tim Burton show things. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously there's that heritage of my channel. That was the first parody I did. Big inspiration to me growing up. I'm very, Tim Burton, blah, blah, blah. It's a walking stereotype. But Beetlejuice was up there from the start. I mean, not only was it one of his like self-genre defining movies, but it's really good, and it's really spooky and everything. And so then when this random Australian guy was commissioned to do the musical, Eddie Perfect, he did a really fucking good job. I don't know. It's got a kind of an 80s sound to it too, which I really love because I've been watching Heathers, the musical, for the last couple of years too, and that's been a big inspiration for me. Are you guys picking up all these hints? Hint. Anyway, so those have been great. I've been going through all the musical theater stuff recently. Anything to fill the massive void that is existence right now, because no one can go outside or meet up or talk or anything. Yeah. So what else is on my list? Oh, shows. Other shows are on my list. Let me go refill my coffee, and we will continue with that. Okay, I'm back. Shows. Okay, speaking of killing time in quarantine, new shows that have been out are really great. What do you guys want to start with? WandaVision or Attack on Titan? Because I've been watching a lot of both. And spoilers for both. Just throwing that out there for everyone. What would be better to approach first? What could I lateral out of second? Let's do Attack on Titan first. It's first alphabetically, whether you go with that or Shinseki no Kyojin or whatever. So, Attack on Titan, the final season, big fucking air quotes, because it's not. They're gonna wrap up like episode 13, and then there will be like a 6-month break, and then they'll have the final season, part 2, and then I punch Isayama in the face. Or no, it's not Isayama. It's whoever runs the Mappa studio with all that stuff going on. Anyway, I hate that. I've always hated that with the way they count seasons. This is bullshit. But putting that aside, Yes, Calbeck is mentioning the theme. The new theme song for season 4.1 is incredible. The color palette on it is really interesting too, and I think really clever in terms of like kind of making this like sensational mockery of warfare where it's black and white like battlefields and ships and everything, and then all the explosions and the fire and the gunfighting is all this like rainbow smoke and fire and bombs and all this stuff. It's very colorful. It's very visually appealing. And it's also, I think, effective in terms of like, I don't know, our armchair art critic here. I think it's really neat how like it shows basically like the world is an empty, gray, black and white place, and the only thing they can think of doing to bring color to it, the only thing that they can think of in bringing life to it is warfare, is death and everything. And then the actual lyrics of the song are even spookier. It's all like, it's coming from the perspective of fucking, paths or the original, what's her name? Ymir, the original Titan lady. Nice Titan lady, or King Fritz, or fucking whatever, and it's just like the devil being like, "This is my last war." You're all gonna get fucking got by the Titans. So, really neat theme. The ending, not so much. The ending doesn't really stand out much to me. It's kind of neat. It's a fine, it's serviceable ending. That's always how I've kind of been with Attack on Titan music, where I'll either really love the ending and then the beginning's just okay, or I'll really love the beginning and the ending is just okay. With the exception being maybe the first two seasons, the first two parts, the first two chunks of like 13 episodes, because you had the original song that everyone loves, the I almost said Linkin Park, the original Linked Horizon song. And then the second Linked Horizon song that opens like a national anthem, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Those two are just solid, beyond solid. And then for the ending themes, you had the very first one, which was the Mikasa song, which is the one Japanese rock lady, where the album covers like her in a black dress and everything. Anyway, that's really cool. And then the second part finale song is the cinema. What was their name? Like Cinema Screens, something like that. Their song, The Great Escape, which opens with that. Anyway. I know this isn't coherent podcasting, but it is podcasting. At least we have the content. Those were great. But if I felt like after that, it was either A or B for me. I either really liked the opening, like Sasageo, Sasageo, and then the ending was just okay, or I liked the ending, such as I don't speak Japanese. It's the one where you have the young Ymir running in the field, and everything's like the old timey. Teduye, ba 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 ba. I like that ending more than the opening for that season. And then the next season was Red Swan. Red Swan was really good. Yeah, so. So anyway, besides the theme songs, the actual, I know the animation itself was a bit contentious. I remember I'm in some Attack on Titan like fan groups on Facebook and stuff, and there was that big hesitation like, uh-oh, we lost the original animation studio. It isn't WIT anymore. Now it's this studio called MAPPA, and I don't know the differences in any of these. I know, it's the frustrating thing with American animation too, where it's like, oh yeah, check out the new Cartoon Network show animated in Korea, by this giant batch like animation company, and you don't notice it until they change it. Like Attack on Korra. Korra the Last Attack Bender happened in her third season. The third season, they went to like a lower grade studio or cheaper or something, because Nickelodeon did to Korra what Fox did to can't think tonight now, what Fox did to Firefly. And so anyway, they cheaped out on season 3, and it's very noticeable. And then I think season 4 they went back to the original. But anyway, the so people were worried about the animation, but really then as soon as it premiered, because I got the Funimation app to watch the premiere because I just had to. I wanted to see the new episodes right when they aired, so I wasn't spoiled in the fucking Facebook groups. And then B, 4 weeks later, they come out with the dubs, which I also greatly enjoy. And so I'm like watching them like scattered. Like, what was it? Last week it was episode 7. So I watched episode 7 of the original Japanese with the sub. And then I watched like episode 4 of the dub. And that was great. I liked that. That was enjoyable. It was good enough. It's close enough. There's no you can only do so much of a major change from sub to dub, you know, without people getting persnickety about like politics and stuff. It's like, it's maybe a few, like, you know, a few misplaced intentions. Like, the one standout example I picked up on was when Eren pops out of his Titan body, and it looks like Hammer. It looks like Hammer Toe's gonna bring the pain down on top of him. He turns in the original Japanese sub, and he says, "It's now or never, Mikasa," which is very like, kind of like begging her, like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And then in the dub, they put a more straightforward something like "Now Mikasa" or something like that, which sounded more like organized and intentional. Like they had a more cogent plan ahead of time, which the later story like reveals like no, they totally didn't. Eren kind of baited them along into this giant fucking Pearl Harbor. So I get it. Like, I get it. There's little changes like that, but it's not, like, groundbreaking. They can't, like, rebuild the entire show, like, honestly, like what they used to do in the 90s with, like, Power Rangers and, what's the Japanese one? Is Satomi Sensei? Whatever the original is. And then, I guess Sailor Moon, they kind of did that. Like, Sailor Moon has all the obvious things, you know, the lesbian couple and all that other stuff that are, like, more egregious, but it's like, and the opening, which is so ridiculously American and over the top, except for the theme. The theme is fucking perfect. Nobody can argue over the American Sailor Moon theme. Full version is amazing. But, yeah, so it was fine. Anyway, this isn't a dubs argument. This is a story argument. So, I like it so far. I know loose bits of spoilers from the manga, from stuff coming up, but I don't know, like, the, you know, ABC storyline. So it's really neat watching it unfold and being like, oh shit, that was Eren. That's, you know, wrapped up in bandages and stuff. I didn't recognize him, because, I don't know, fucking not paying attention or something. And then later on, it's like, oh man, they totally weren't in the loop on this at all. He just kind of like fucked with everyone in the entire world and started a world war. He's like fucking, what's his name? Killing Archduke Ferdinand in World War I. Like, YOLO. Let's see if he can back it up now. I guess we'll see. And then there was the other reveal then that, again, the spoilers for all these shows. Then there was the other reveal that his brother has some plan too. And so, you have Grisha. No, not Grisha. He was the dad. What's the kid's name? The blonde guy, Beast Titan. Beast Titan Jaeger also has some kind of grand plan for defeating Marley and securing a parody, freedom, and independence or whatever from being constantly attempted genocided by the world, which would be nice. Yeah, and then you have all the weird dynamic with the Tiber family and all the Oh, are we back? I was reading Calbeck's quote. This isn't a dubs argument, it's a story argument. Skybolt 21. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I will say I think Funimation is great. If you're bored to shit, or you have a job where you work from home and you watch 8 hours of TV a day while you're doing that job, the Funimation app's pretty good. I haven't gone to it yet, but they have Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood on there with the dubs, and they have what did I just watch? I hadn't watched it before. This is brand new for me. The Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Die Neue Tesse, I think. I don't speak German at all. Shame my ancestors. I believe it means the new series. It's the new series of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which was a series of novels, like space opera novels, and then they made a somewhat popular anime in the late 80s, but it is dated horribly. It's no Akira. And so they just decided to do a brand new series with new animation, and I'm sure, you know, they edited down the story differently than the original. But I enjoyed it. It was very good animation. I felt like it properly addressed all of the, like, the political dynamics that the story seems to want to communicate. It's very, what's the best way of putting it? It's a little bit Star Wars prequels in terms of, like, you have this competing breakaway, like, set of planets that are, like, a free association, and they kind of have, like, UN NATO vibes. And then you have this very, like, this very obvious, like, kind of, like, empire deal, and these guys have their, like, their fucking Kaiserreich or whatever. And then, like, a new guy, like, he kind of takes over. Not like that, but, you know, anyway. So they play with some of those ideas, and there's nuance on both sides. There's good and bad people on both sides. It's very interesting. I think it's fun. And ultimately, it plays out like a chess game. It's ultimately this big chess game between this Free Planets guy who rises up to Admiral, basically because he's just a strategy genius, and he just outwits the what is it? The Federation. I think it's called the Federation. Something like that. The Empire on on like left and right fronts. And then there's the new guy in the Empire who basically sort of you know, pushes his way up to the top. Pusch. And yeah, it's interesting. It's a neat show. Oh, and then the other thing, this also became a little bit of inspiration for my new novel story, My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is in there too with the dubs, and I decided to watch it start to finish again because I had to stop after season 3 because I think that was all that was out. And now season 4 was out with the dub, and it's the best season. Like, oh my god, like, how does, I forget how season 3 ends again. I think it's with, I forget how the story unfolded, because, you know, there's all the mini arcs within it, too. Anyway, it kicks off the arc with the little girl, the adorable little girl, that they're trying to save with, the horde on her head, and she's got, like, crazy powers for, like, time reversal and weird shit, that she's super powerful. Anyway, so there's the whole Save the Little Girl arc where they also have the frickin' bulk biceps Tintin. What's his name? Like, his superhero name's like Mr. Millions or whatever. Like, he's gonna save 1 million people. Anyway, he's a great character, and I wish I remembered his name, but Japanese names are hard to remember sometimes. So, so they have their whole thing, and there's the tragedy, and then, you know, the other tragedy. And then what is the second half of season 4? This totally adorable, like, wholesome little arc set around like a school, like, band festival. And you have Jiro at the center of it as the band leader, and she is adorable, and she's Earphone Jack, and they get her to, like, break out of her shell a bit and lead the band and organize this whole little concert, and they want to take the little girl to the concert, and then there's like there's like fucking Jesse and James, like, you know, knucklehead villains that are just in the background that are gonna spoil the fun. It was just so ridiculously wholesome and lighthearted compared to the first half of season 4. I absolutely loved it. The whole season was fucking perfect. And so now I'm really excited for what's to come, because my my little heart is all cozy from watching that all unfold and watching the little girl smile and watching Jiro finally sing her song and play her bass there on stage, the Hero 2 and all that good stuff. It was so fucking saccharine. I loved it. So that's what I did over Christmas break, was watch fucking My Hero Academia. It was great. Yeah, so back to Attack on Titan. So they have their little bomb Pearl Harbor deal, which is interesting. Good to see how that works out. What is the meme like? It's a bold plan, Con. Let's see how it works out for him. And then they get the fuck out, which is good. Like, no child gets left behind except for Sasha, who got shot by a child, which is really fucking sad. Like, you guys didn't close the door to the fucking airship? Like, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Like, you're lucky you even flew out of the city without getting just grenaded down by one of the Titan cannons, which could have easily blown that shit out of the sky. Whether or not it was full of hydrogen, if there's some kind of fucking, Hindenburg symbolism, that thing could have gone down so hard, so fast, and it didn't. But you let the little girl on board. And then they start doing the flashbacks to the last 4 years from the end of Season 3, Part 2, aka Season 5, where they finally reach the shoreline. And Armin gets to see the ocean, and he's little big Armin, and he gets to see the ocean for the first time after they save him with the Colossal. And Mikasa has this really adorable smile, and they all play in the water, and Eren is just fucking mad, because he knows what's coming. But the others look so happy. And it's like the last time they look that happy, more or less. Because then within like the next couple scenes that show like the first year after that, they all grow up a little bit, like literally, and Levi is still short. And they kind of have some happy scenes, and you see Queen Historia, and she's like, "Oh, Eren, it's good to see you." And Mikasa's a little jealous, and she's also blushing, and that's cute. And then they have this little, like, diplomatic meeting set up by fucking Monkey Man, Jaeger, and with I don't know, I guess it's Japan. It kind of sounds like Japan, which is really surreal and circular. But anyway, they have, like, this meeting with Japan, and Japan basically tells them, like, yeah, we'll help out the Paradismos, but you got to give us all your resources. Like, I don't know, whatever magic ice crystals power all the 3D ODM gear, which is interesting that they're going into some kind of unique fuel source lore for that. So I don't know what that's going to end up being, but it sounds like almost, what's that movie? Steam Boy? I don't think that's a Miyazaki movie, but it's the Steam Boy movie where they find this mythical, like atomic power source, but it's just pure steam. Like, you just keep it in a containment vessel and it's always pumping out constant infinite steam pressure, and they plug it into the big steam castle, and then they walk that shit over to the World's Fair. It's a neat movie. I like the movie, but it seems like kind of that's what they're going for now with the ODM gear. Fuck, I keep forgetting how young Isayama is. The original creator of the story, and what's the name? Mangakai? Mr. Manga Man. He's like 35, which makes me feel so, like, he's already got this major anime, and his big story is, like, internationally known, bestseller and everything. Like, whatever he does after this, it's like J.K. Rowling. Again, not talking about whatever, politics, but it's like Rowling, where it's like they could just live off of this one series for the rest of their lives, because it got that big that quickly from almost nothing, like rags to riches. Anyway, so yeah, we're coming to the end of Titan. I'm also excited for the music. As another aside of my usual tangents, I want the season 4 soundtrack so bad, because I guess I didn't pick this up at first, but I guess they have a different guy doing the music for Marley. So all the Marleyan scenes are composed by one dude, and all the original Paradis scenes are composed by the original guy. What's his name? Hayato? I think his name is Hayato something. Anyway, so that's clever. That's basically what I was trying to do with with Fallout Equestria, the animated series, where of our, ragtag group of musicians that were once called the Balefire Symphony, the idea was that each of them have their own sort of unique musical style, get assigned to something. So we would have had fucking Pegasynth as the Raider theme guy, or we would have had Blackjack as like the Wasteland guy, or shit like that. So yeah, I think that's neat, and I'm excited to hear how that sounds like purely on a soundtrack, back to back. Yeah, and then the last couple episodes of Attack on Titan that have released so far are talking about some of those negotiations with fictional Japan, and this whole scheme where basically like they need lots of like royal blood and founding titans, so basically like Historia has to start kicking them out. If you know what I'm saying, she's gotta have one big happy family and make it as big as possible, as quickly as possible. So that sort of has set up a whole plot line / mystery for the rest of the series, where she's pregnant already when this 4 years later thing happens, and everyone's like, okay, who's the father? Because it's like they have this explanation that's like, oh, this friend she had back on the farm, and he's a farmer, and she's protecting his identity or some shit. But then everyone else is like, she's been making hot eyes at Mr. Titan Man for a long time. A lot of people think it might be Eren, and that's a big mystery. And I really hope it isn't. I'm still an OG from the very very first episode. I want to see Mikasa happy, and she loves Eren so much that if he breaks her heart like that, like he's kind of done the entire fucking show, like really, he doesn't deserve her because he's such like he's like a workaholic. He's too focused on killing Titans to see that this very nice lady really likes you, and like you grew up together, and it's like so obvious, and you're just killing her with the way you neglect her. It would be really awful to find out that he dipped his pen in the royal ink, so to speak. Yeah, so I understand there's political dynamics at play as well. Like you kind of like, they're like crossing the streams with Mr. Founding Titan Controller and Miss Royal Blood Haver, but still, Mikasa doesn't deserve that. Maybe, if that is the way it plays out, maybe they're gonna go the route of he didn't want to like tie her down, because she doesn't have a death clock floating over her head like he does at 5 years left, and Armin does at like 9 years left or whatever, because of this Curse of Ymir bullshit. But it's like, then he should have let her eat the fucking Hammer Toe or something, and let her become a shifter. Because A, that would be incredible. Everyone wants to see Titan Shifter Mikasa. And then B, then they could have their short little lives together, and he could stop being such an anal retentive piece of shit. That's an idea. It's an idea, Eren. There are things beyond your job, God. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Let's go back to the chat and see what people are saying. Bomb Pearl Harbor, get the fuck out. It worked so well the last time. So well. It really does feel like that's what he's implying. Like, hey guys, you remember when we did this? Isayama saying, this wasn't a good idea. This is gonna have consequences. Roy Mustang, monkey. Yes. Monkey Jaeger. Oh, fuck, what is his name? I don't care. He's Monkey. He's Monkey Man. Mangaka. Team King Kong. That's right. Yeah, speaking of Big Monkey Man, we have the Godzilla vs. King Kong movie coming out soon. That's going to be fun. And it's the King Kong they introduce in Kong Skull Island, which is the biggest Kong, which is the most monkey of men. So that'll be neat. You have Fat Godzilla versus Tall King Kong. That they made Godzilla too fat. That was wrong. And the Japanese were right when they criticized the 2014 movie, like, why did you make Godzilla so fat? Yes, yes, they did. Hopefully he slims down. He slimmed down a little bit in the last movie, King of the Monsters, when he has his nice little love affair with Mothra. He slimmed down a little bit, but not enough, man. You gotta go go light on the whales or whatever the fuck you eat. On the what does Godzilla eat again? He's like radioactive, right? Doesn't he just like hang out near like the ocean floor vents and suck up that fresh hot nitrogen? No, not hydrogen. Uranium? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anyway, he's got to do less of that. Whatever he's doing, do less of it. You gotta trim some of those pounds, man. How are you gonna get in the ring with Monkey Man? He's gonna wipe you the fuck out. All right, now I have to put art on screen. Give me a second. We have to reflect this moment. This is the one. I've only had Mothra for a day and a half, but if anything happened to her, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself. Y'all better remember 2 years ago when the Godzilla vs. Mothra movie came out, and it was just a month of Godzilla Mothra like shipping art, because it was the greatest month of Twitter in a long fucking time. So go back to that. I think they had a hashtag of like Mothzilla or something like that. And there's just fucking tons of them. Like tons of them. Please go do that. It's good for your soul. It's very wholesome. It's very adorable. Just do it. Okay, anyway. Do we have one with Monkey? Do we have one with Monkey Man? Sort by date, most recent. Show me the monkey. Show me the monkey. Here we go. Is that a monkey? He's got a gun! It's gonna be a great movie. Also, if you didn't see Kong Skull Island, I know like a lot of people missed it. That's a really good movie. You really should check it out because it was a good movie. I should throw out there, I'm Team Godzilla. I'm sorry. I recognize that, you know, I should stick with my American older brother. He is the older too, you know. They'd come up with Godzilla until that bomb came flying down. But King Kong was from like the 30s or something. So technically Kong is a bit of an old man, but Godzilla has the sweet new powers. He's got like nuclear radiation, and he's got like, you know, he's got like teeth. I guess King Kong has teeth, but I don't know. All I'm saying is that I kind of feel like Godzilla is still the headliner of the story. I know there's an old one too from like the 70s, Godzilla vs. King Kong. I don't know who actually won in those movies either. I'm pretty sure in both cases, like, another villain came in and they ended up working together, because that's the other thing too, where like there's been all the memes of like
you saved
of like
me.
them fighting.
Why?
And then there's like a Mechagodzilla or something. So I assume at some point like Mechagodzilla is gonna drop in and that'll be part of it. Kong is the OG kaiju, that's right. You know, I think technically the Kraken is the OG kaiju. You gotta go Greek for that. All the way back to the old days. I mean, you know, asterisk, I'm sure there's many of older civilizations that have imagined large monster creatures in like the ocean and stuff. But I mean, strictly speaking, in terms of Western civilization, it's the Greeks. The Greeks are the bottom. That's the nice marble foundation upon which Western culture is built. I forgot this one. This is the other reason that Godzilla's gonna win, because he's a Chad. Come on, man. You couldn't even get one lady? One lady. And then you got Godzilla just covered in them. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Yes, I think Mechagodzilla is going to show up or something. I agree. Something like that's going to happen. So, yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff coming out this year. Ever since HBO Max declared war on movie theaters, it's actually a lot of stuff coming out now. There's the Zack Snyder cut as well. That's gonna be something else. A 4-hour-long Just Us League movie. I don't know what to think about that. I remember when people were first joking about it, I thought, this is dumb. Obviously there isn't enough footage to, make a whole nother movie. Which I was kind of right about, because they've spent, $40 million in the last 2 years actually, finishing the movie. And, I'm sure some of that was, digital production and effects and recoloring and all this stuff. But it's even if there's a lot of similar plot beats, it does feel like there's going to be enough different where it'll be an alternate universe feel to it. Zack Snyder had a very awful personal tragedy that took him off the movie in the first place, so I'm glad for his sake that he was able to mourn and get back to a place where he could do the movie the way he planned to from the beginning, because, what's his name, Justice Whedon? Justice for Whedon. Ugh. He got brought in basically as a scab. They're Zack can't work on this anymore. We need someone else to finish the movie. And then you get, mustachioed, non-mustachioed Superman in the worst way, which is just I don't know. It really feels like they were just messing around. I know, Uncanny Valley and stuff, but it's just one lip. You couldn't have easily edited that better rather than make him look like fucking Napoleon Dynamite with his upper lip always showing. Come on, guys, I'm Superman. Or, no, you know what he looked like was the, I don't know if anyone remembers, the old South Park episodes with the Hardly Boys with their lips so high, and they feel a clue coming on. Oh yes, I have a raging clue this way. That's what he looked like. He looked like just ridiculous. I feel like that was someone who either really hated the movie or DC or Joss Whedon, and they just we're gonna shit this lips onto the screen and everyone will make fun of it. I mean, obviously Henry Cavill wasn't that committed either, that he could have easily worn a fake mustache for fucking the man from Uncle. From Mission Impossible Fallout. But he didn't. He just didn't. He's I'm gonna stick with the very successful Spy franchise rather than the DC expanded universe, which is spiraling into the ground like Superman getting punched by fucking Doomsday. Okay, what else is there to talk about? Oh, of course. WandaVision. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I have art of that too. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, and I have one more thing to talk about too. At the end, Cobra Kai. Well, remind me, chat, to get back to that at the end. Okay, WandaVision. What's a good one? Let's go with this one. This is very wholesome. It's so wholesome. This is obviously what was in Wanda's head. Her psychotic break of a head as she decided, spoiler alert everyone, as she decided to basically take 3,000 people hostage and make them her little dollies so she could play house with the rotting corpse of her husband. Kind of husband. They didn't get actually married. They're just husband and wife now because she said so. But, you know, she had to create the rings after the fact, after she propped up, after she propped up, Weekend at Bernie's, vision in the corner there. So anyway, that is really fucking sad. Yeah, it was neat. I thought it was really frustrating, though, how, like, as soon as it launched, like, I hadn't read a lot about the storylines. Like, I knew a very tertiary amount. Like, I have no history with Marvel. My entire knowledge of Marvel is strictly in cinema. The Spider-Man original movies, X-Men original movies, and then every once in a while I'd hear random tidbits about like, oh, did you hear about this character? It's like, no, not really. Well, they're going to be the next Marvel movie, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's how I learned. If it wasn't in a literally blockbuster movie, I have no fucking idea what's in the Marvel universe. 2, I really don't Google it, like, either. Like, I don't go expanding, like, oh, who is this? Why is it blah, 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 blah. Unless it's, like, a YouTube reviewer talking about the movie or the show or something. But there were so many people online that are like, what's going on? Is that Vision? I thought Vision was dead. Like, come on, guys. I know the Marvel movies have this reputation of kind of spoon-feeding, like, lowest common denominator, you know, like banana pudding to the masses and the Chinese, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to figure out, like, what's going on. Like, from the start, Wanda has been an illusionist, reality bender, ABC. Like the big reveal at the end of episode 3 or 4, what fuck ever, when they kick Agent Rambeau out the fuck of her little dollhouse. Obviously, it's Wanda. Like, come on, guys. Even the military, I'm like, shouldn't that be the first thing they thought of? Was, the Scarlet Witch? Because I'm pretty sure they already have used that name in the Marvel Universe. Maybe I'm wrong, but they act like they haven't given her a pseudonym yet. That she's always just been Wanda Maxoff. Max on, Max off. Obviously, they have some idea of her powers. Yes, the scale is something different, for sure, but in essence, like, wouldn't you think, like, hey, it's really cold outside, I wonder, or it's really cold in the house, I wonder if someone left the refrigerator open. You know, a source of cold is pouring cold into the house. That makes sense. Like, it would be, if your house was like ice, that would be surprising, but you would still think, let me check all these sources of cold in my house to see why my house is, you know, fucking Mr. Freezeland. A Mr. Freeze layer. So yes, even if they've never seen the scale of her reality bending before, the fact that she has done this to, like, you know, quote unquote gods, as Thor and Hulk, who's like, you know, radioactive Superman, and all these other people, you think they would have, like, ABC figured it out? Even if the characters don't, for plot convenience reasons, or Sword being, you know, double crossy and whatever, the audience really should have. Like, there really should have been so much discussion of, what's going on? I don't get it. Like, that's the reason why we didn't get more episodes of them as sitcom characters before they gave the farm away in season 4 and just plainly explained what the fuck was going on. I wouldn't have minded, like, another 2 or 3. I've really been enjoying the sitcom parodies. And then in episode 6, they roll out fucking Malcolm in the Middle parody. Oh my god, that was my jam. That whole episode was so good. And you had Pietro, fucking X-Men Pietro, walking around just cracking his little jokes and making fun of her for her dead husband. It was so great. Like, I want more. I want 2 more episodes of them doing Malcolm in the Middle shit. But I know we're not going to get it because the audience have the attention span of fucking squirrels. So whatever. Calming down. Instead, they gave us a consolation prize. And that consolation prize is Kat Dennings. Because it is so great having her back in the Marvel Universe. For obvious reasons. Don't make me explain it. You know why. But at the same time, she's also a fun character. And I'm excited to see... Come back. Hello. Okay. I think we're back. Oh, goodbye callback. Have a nice night. The other thing they did in the comics, I guess, they had a storyline, I think it was the House of M one, where basically she takes away mutant powers from almost everyone. Basically, unless your mutant power was strong enough to resist her, she just, like clean sweeps the world of powers. And so some people are theorizing that Marvel is using their recent acquisition of Fox, not Fox, 20th Century Fox. And those properties, including the entire X-Men, expanded universe, to bring them together. That's why we have X-Men Pietro here. Because then, basically they do the inverse, where somehow this event ends up being where she either pulls the X-Men from that universe into theirs, or, like, sets off a fucking time bomb or something, and now everyone starts getting powers. And we have the background of mutants on top of all the other, superheroes and Marvel characters. So, it's very fascinating. I'm very excited. It's gonna be sweet. It's been fun. It's been a nice change of pace from conventional, like, Marvel norms. Like, across movies they did well with the storytelling, but as a proper full universe show, and I say that as a distinction from, like, the Netflix shows like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and stuff like that, as like a full universe show, it's really neat. I like it, and I like the sitcom parodies, and I wanted that 70s show sitcom parody, and I want more Malcolm in the Middle, and I want a fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I want some more, but everyone has some fucking short attention spans that we're not gonna get them. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's WandaVision. Okay, what did I say earlier? We're almost at 2 hours, or at one and a half hours. So let's go to Cobra Kai. Speaking of shows that I just discovered that I really should have found way earlier, we have. Is this the only meme I downloaded? This might be the only meme I downloaded. Okay, I'll throw this on screen. So, quick rundown for everyone who have no idea what the fuck Cobra Kai is. In the 1980s, some of you probably remember, I don't. My brother was the 80s child. He's the Xer. I grew up in the warm afterglow of 80s nostalgia because of him. So that was lucky of me. So there's this little show called The Karate Kid. And it starred the guy in the middle there, Ralph Macchio, who was a recent transplant from New Jersey to, was it West Valley or East Valley? Some fictional Los Angeles suburb. I think it's supposed to be like Glendale or something. Anyway, so he moves there, and he doesn't quite fit in. There's the difference of cultures between the 80s California dude bros of Los Angeles and him being a kind of a poor Jersey kid. I don't think he had the accent like that, but anyway, and kind of a down and out kid, doesn't quite fit into school. There's some bullies, and a lot of them are part of this like karate dojo club gang ran by this like literal psychopath guy who's like a brain damaged Vietnam vet, and they just start picking on him, and he ends up like kind of hitting on this one girl, and her actual like kind of boyfriend or whatever, the girl is Elizabeth Shue, by the way, her like boyfriend or whatever gets all mad and starts fighting with him, and he becomes a specific target of their bullying, and so poor little 16-year-old Ralph Macchio, what's the fucking character's name? Something LaRusso. Danny LaRusso has to defend himself. And so he bumps into, at some point, this older Japanese man named something Miyagi. And he feels bad for the boy. And he's like an old-fashioned, like, classical karate master from Okinawa. And so he starts teaching them his family's version of karate, which is very, very traditional, very defense-oriented, very, connected to their roots, versus this, psychopathic, like, white guy who has this karate style that's, like, all violence. Like, hit hard, hit fast, no mercy. And the blonde kid who, like, Danny stole the girl from, He's his main student. He's the main character. And everything comes down to the big like karate tournament then. And so you have Danny LaRusso, who's being basically just represented independently by Miyagi, and then you have the blonde kid. Keep forgetting a fucking character's name. That's his defining characteristic, is he's blonde. And that becomes the big match. And he fights a little dirty, the blonde guy, but so does Danny. Not dirty, but he has like a kick that like kind of blows him away and is not strictly part of the conventional fighting set. Anyway, Danny wins, he gets the girl, and then they have a couple of sequels that most people don't talk about. Then this series is set like 25 years later, and we pick up, and you have Danny LaRusso in the middle there. He's got a good family. That's his daughter character there on the right, which is Samantha LaRusso. And a son who's kind of like basically not in the show at all. He's like almost a non-entity. And they're doing fine. He runs a fancy car dealership where he sells like really high quality like Japanese imports and stuff. And that's kind of his thing. Ever since he won the Children's Karate Tournament, that's been his meme. And so he's all about like slashing the prices of the competition and shit like that. Anyway, so blonde guy didn't turn out so well. He didn't get the girl. He ended up with some other girl and got her pregnant. And then he kind of chickened out. He was a bad dad, and he kind of just wasn't there. The mom isn't good either, though, and so like the kid is like really messed up. And his name is Robbie, and he comes into play, I think halfway through season 1, something like that. So basically, blonde guy, not a good person still. Had a rough life. But slowly, he finds the guy on the left there, which is, shit. I don't remember his the dude's actual name is, I think Xolo, or Cholo, Xolo. Anyway, whatever his character's name is. I'm sorry, I forgot. Is it Miguel? I think it's Miguel. Finds Miguel, and he is similar thing where he's just getting whooped up on by bullies. Just totally annihilated by bullies. And by happenstance, blonde guy gets caught in the middle, and he ends up helping Miguel out and fighting off the bullies. And then Miguel's like begging him, like, please, sir, please teach me how to fight, so I can defend myself and everything. And they have a very wholesome little, like, father figure, son bonding experience over the course of the season. And basically it causes blonde guy to restart Cobra Kai as a dojo, but he is still a little bit emotionally damaged from the crazy Vietnam vet guy. And so he tries to reboot it in a good way. Think of like in the Ruby show where they decide to reboot the White Fang, but as like not genocidal or whatever. Like not evil, just, fierce. Just strong and fierce, and maybe a little bit overly masculine sometimes in a bit of an 80s way. But there's some love there. There's a heart of gold somewhere deep down beneath the battle scars. And anyway, that's a very, very quick rundown of season 1. There's 2 more seasons. The 3rd one just came out. The show's incredible. It is really like I've seen the original movie, and the original song was good. It's a cruel, cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. All that stuff. But the show is like another level. Besides the fact that it's a whole series, so it's a big, continuous, binge-worthy story like Game of Thrones or like any other Netflix show these days, Stranger Things, etc., streaming shows. But it's just so well done. There's so much depth to the characters. There's so much redemption for characters of the original movie and of the sequels that people mostly had forgotten for a while. And the music is incredible too. Oh my god. These two guys, I had never heard anything by them before, but they just have this most kick-ass electric guitar 80s soundtrack for the whole show. And then there's some other random add-ins of like modern like remixes of Cruel Summer and modern songs like this. There's this whole montage segment at one point where the girl on the right, Samantha, is fighting this like evil girl who's part of the who's part of the crazy guys dojo, Tori something. Anyway, and so there's like this whole like girl power like fighting and training montage at the beginning. It's really great. It's really great. So go check that out. Go watch Cobra Kai, because I think it's already been extended for like another season or 2 at least. And I hope it gets it. I hope it gets, 7 fucking seasons or whatever, because it's very enjoyable. Where are we at? 141? Okay, we're almost at 2 hours. So I think I've hyped up the show enough. Shit, is that it? I don't know what else there is to talk about. I covered my own book that I've been writing all year, and how proud I am of my story. I hope people like my story. Ulysses Chronicle is kind of like, I'll do a post out video soon, like a compilation of all the episodes. Didn't quite get the success I was hoping for. I was hoping for a few more views. I don't know. It was one of those cost benefit analyses of I didn't get enough like dopamine payoff for all the effort I put into the show. I think part of it is because of the visual development. Like whenever season 2, volume 2 happens, it's gonna be like, it'll be a still of like one of the character posters. Like oh, these are all covered up. Yeah. It'll be a still of one of the character posters like this, and then it'll just, be the episode or the setting or the title card or something like that. And then if people can't understand, what someone is saying, the script will be for download in the comments. So that's the plan for easing my production process down the line. But it's a big if right now. It's a big, like, kind of taking a break. I'm taking a break and chasing the dragon that fucking magically appeared to me in my sleep on Christmas Eve and got me going on this story that I've had in the Bunsen burner for like literally like, how long's it been? 13 years, I want to say. There was one very specific event that kicked off the whole plan, the whole concept, and I want to say it was in like 2008 or 2007. It was when I was in high school, and it was so specific as like an inciting action that I was like, I have to write a story about this someday, because it was so freaky and crazy. It felt like a movie that almost happened, basically. And that's what this is. That's what this is. And it's going to be fucking great, with a theme song composed by the L Train and an audiobook done by yours truly. Just me. I'm not going to... I could involve others, but it's a bit of a complication process, and, I'm trying to, like, sell it and stuff through Audible, so I don't want to go through a complicated, like, royalties process or whatever. So it's just going to be me. Hopefully people enjoy that. That was honestly one of the things that the Confessions finale was a bit of a test for as well, to see if, like, people would be okay with me doing... my own kind of audiobooks, just on my own, more or less. I know we did have some great color commentary by Maddie, and then by Final Character, and stuff like that, but you get the idea. So we're going to see how that turns out. I am extremely excited, though. And then we have Wasteland Survival Guide, which is going to be... 2 more episodes left, 2 regular episodes, and then the afterword, which is like the finale closing chapter of the book, and then 1 giant audiobook compilation video that has all of them in order, and they're remastered with, like, the music is evened out and all the miscellaneous voices are evened out to the best of our abilities. It's the original audio from the individual episodes. They're not like redone audio. So it's a remaster, not a re-recording, I should specify. I did my best. I really did my best to try to make everything have a nice fluid sound to them. Hopefully people appreciate that in listening to the album down the road. And that release will also herald the release of the actual PDF book, which I am extremely proud of. Got all the art in there. It looks like it was printed on like a stack of old, dirty, like printer paper that Ditzy found in like a warehouse and then ran through like a printing press. I'm very proud of that like aesthetic look to it. And it's set up in such a way that if someone wants to or has the means to, you can put it through a standard like book printing process. It's 8:10 ratio for the book itself. for the ratio of the pages, and crank it out. And honestly, if people find a more affordable option that I was unable to find without bulk buying like 200 of them, which I'm not going to do, then more power to you. Let us know, and we'll probably do a few for ourselves too. Yeah, so that's been 2021 so far. It's been really fucking great, actually. Watching a lot of good shows, working almost nonstop in like a fever dream on a novel, finally finishing Wasteland Survival Guide after 4 years, which is massive dopamine payoff. Fighting back the ever-present depression of winter for another year in a row, which has been fun. We're almost at the 1 year anniversary of two weeks to slow the curve, which is fucking amazing. The Ides of March, absolutely love it. Corona Pona won in the end. And then what else? Fuck, there was one more thing I was just thinking of that I was gonna refresh the chat, the audience. Fuck, what was it? Something else I was gonna say. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, so I hope everyone else is having a wonderful 2021 as well. It's gonna be an interesting year. It's already been an interesting year, and see how it all plays out. Are there any other questions? We got 12 minutes left until our big 2-hour mark. That's conventional for the BananaCasts. We have callback saying, I am an excerpt, so yeah, this was my jam. I'm glad. It's interesting. I kind of ride the line of millennial to Zoomer. Some things have the Zoomer cut off at 1993, and other things have the Zoomer cut off at 95. I was born in 90, so yeah. So, yay, 30. That's been fucking great too. Yeah, I feel 10 years older, even though it was just 1 year. Fuck, fucking 30. But no, it's okay. From what I've heard, the 30s are better than the 20s, which I can see some truth to in the present, just because the 20s are like the hellish decade of figuring your life out. Like, it's the transition from being a literal child to being like a full functioning adult, and you're finishing college, and you're getting settled in a job, and you're getting settled in a place, and hopefully you're finding some special someone and all that good shit. So everything except for that last thing I've got pretty well down pat. So yeah, hopefully you can find love in the age of Corona. That's the final boss, and then we go from there. I should probably also highlight again, even though it's copyright free, the music we've been listening to for the second half has been no copyright parentheses, coffee house jazz, calming jazz music, relaxing music by Relax Music Meditation. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. 20s are when you get your college and or army or whatever skill building thing out of the way and prep your career, which is now. Yes. No, luckily I'm very well settled in my career. I was blessed to have ended up in basically a career position out of high school. It was an internship, but it was a paid internship, which, you know, they all should be. Like, the volunteer internships are bullshit, but anyway, I was lucky to have that, because then my paid internship paid off my college while my parents let me live at home. That was the condition, is I could stay at home as long as I was going to college and working to pay for college. And so I was able to do both. Thank the big guy. So, yeah. Oh, one more thing. That's what I was going to mention. It wasn't a movie or thing. It was a tool. I got some new headphones after Christmas. There was an after Christmas deal on, I think, Amazon. Oh, of course it was Amazon. Amazon's the only company now. It was on Amazon for these Bayer Dynamic 990 headphones. And, pros, 250 ohm, which means it has really good bass. I haven't had, like, a really good set of professional headphones in ever, really. I, like, all my mixing and stuff, like Confessions and everything, have been off my fucking Skull Candy Inked 2 earbuds, which is, like, you know, they're okay. They're just okay. But these are, like, actual professional studio mixing headphones. They're open, so they're not closed, so it's harder to record with them. But when I record an audiobook, I'm not listening to audio anyway, or like, you know, audiobook dialogue. So it doesn't matter. I don't need closed ear headphones right now. So I got these open ear headphones, which are great for just regular listening of music and for mixing audio. And they are amazing. And I've been just listening to that. I've been listening to my little inspiration music playlist I've been building to go along with my story. And then eventually I'm going to make like a fucking YouTube playlist of all the songs in order so people can have like an accompanying soundtrack to my ridiculous story. And they can kind of like get the vibe for each chapter. I've been having fun with it. And that's all that matters in the end, is that I had fun. Whether or not anyone actually reads it or listens to it. But I'm going to drop some fucking money this time on advertising, so a few people better. Anyway, so that's what's been going on with yours truly. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what the rest of the studio is doing. Once I got the last of the lines from Needle for Derpy, that's been it. Don't know what Kelly's doing. Don't know what Vermont's doing. I know he's been splitting his efforts between episodes 2 through 4 of Untypical. I think that's in full production now that Arya Moon Season 1 is over. I know he is eventually planning on re-releasing Arya Moon Season 1 in some kind of compilation. I know he has some other secret projects he's working on as well, which he hasn't told me about, which is totally fair, because I have my novel that I haven't told him about, except what he's hearing here, if he's listening to this, or what he's seen in the chat rooms. So everyone has some fun surprises, and yeah, it's been good. It's been a good year, and once again, this little podcast of mine will be a personal diary entry. I'll be honest, I have kind of turned these podcasts into my own diary or journal or whatever. These are my audio logs, like I'm fucking Andrew Ryan or Tannenbaum or, you know, or any number of Fallout characters. Just recording my thoughts as the weeks and months go by and what's going on and where I'm at, and it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have a little record of your life in some form. And obviously, some people seem to enjoy it. Not a lot. That's totally fine. But it's fun. It's fun for me. That's always what I've said from the very start of my channel, when I knew, like, you know, starting out doing horse music parodies, even before L Train, before the audiobook, before Fallout Equestria, any of that stuff, when it was just shit like, you know, What's This Ponies and the other little parodies I was doing. I'm like, do it for fun, for yourself. It was a creative outlet when I was drowning in engineering work and literally couldn't do anything else. I couldn't do local stage theater, which I really wanted to do, but I didn't get the part anyway, so that was kind of the it was so funny. Before I started my channel, I was very close. I was like second or third, because they picked one guy and an understudy for the part of Wormwood. Is that the character's name? A local theater house was doing a production of The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. I think that's it. Anyway, and so there's the younger character, the kid character named Wormwood, I think. And I came in third. So they cast the guy and the understudy, and then there was me. And so I took that as a sign from God or from Screwtape that I was not supposed to do local theater. Instead, I was supposed to look for other avenues. And apparently, to get to those other avenues, I had to ride the back of a fucking pony. So here we are, years later, and 3 symphonic metal operas, coming on 4, and then the Fallout Equestria parodies, and the the radio play, a kind of audiobook kind of series, Confessions, and the more proper audio drama radio play of Terminal Secrets and Wasteland Survival Guide, and it's been wild. It's been a really interesting time. So anyway, I think that's a good place to cut out. Thank you everyone for joining me for another episode of the BananaCast. And I guess the whole point of this podcast, which I should finally wrap up why it's titled the way it is, Where There's Smoke. This is one big smoke signal. This is one big fire in the sky of everything that is to come, and it is a big fire. It is an exciting fire, and it's gonna be so freaking great. I'm so excited for what's to come. So have a wonderful evening wherever you're doing the rest of the week, whatever you're doing the next couple of months. Keep your eye out for the last couple episodes of the Wasteland Survival Guide, wrapping up the series. It's going to be great, and a lot of other really big stuff coming later on in the year. So we will talk to you guys